Before sunrise, Mina unlatches the floating post office and breathes in the smell of cedar, ink, and river mist. She opens the front windows, and cool dawn air spills across the sorting desk in one silver wave. And the highest shelf, the orange cat stretches, blinks once, and drops directly into the workday. Mina lights the kettle, and the first small whistle threads through the sound of water under the boards. She breaks the wax seals on the incoming sacks and lets envelopes slide over the table like pale fish. By color, by ribbon, by the weight in her hands, she sorts the morning into careful little storms. Mina folds route maps across the tabletop and smooths them flat with both palms. She ties 3 delivery stacks with green twine and slips each one into a different leather satchel pocket. The postmaster arrives without a sound, carrying fresh ink and a basket of still warm rolls. He checks the ledger with one ink-stained thumb and nods at the route she chose. Then he places one last envelope on the desk, cream-colored, sealed with blue wax, and marked with no name at all. Only a pressed cornflower rests under the twine, as if the letter remembers where it belongs better than anyone else. Mina slips the nameless letter into the safest pocket and snaps her satchel closed. The cat steals the crumbs anyway and trots out first, tail high, as if he owns the route. Mina wheels her bicycle down the ramp and feels the whole morning lean forward with her. The canal path shines with last night's rain, every stone bright as a coin under her tires. She rings her bell twice to warn the ducks, and they scatter in flustered little bursts of feathers. At the baker's gate, she drops a tied packet through the slot without slowing down. A florist waves from across the path, and Mina answers by tossing a postcard into her waiting basket. Ahead, laundry lines sway between balconies, turning the narrow lane into a tunnel of wet color. She stands on one pedal to climb the small bridge and coasts down the other side with a grin she never notices. At the fishmonger's door, she hooks a parcel onto a brass handle and keeps rolling. At the canal fork, Mina brakes hard enough to spray a fan of silver droplets over her boots. The mailboat is already drifting loose from its post, so she runs the last steps and jumps aboard. Her bicycle clatters into the rack. The cat springs after her, and the old boat shudders into motion. She unties the mooring rope with quick fingers and nudges the tiller as the canal widens ahead. The boat cuts through lily pads, scattering circles of water that wobble behind like coins dropped in glass. Mina sorts the next row of deliveries with one hand on the tiller and one hand inside the satchel. The cat crouches at the bow and stares into the water like it might deliver a message back. At the first riverside house, Mina swings the boat close enough to hook a parcel onto a porch pole. A child on the steps sends a paper crane sailing toward her, and she catches it against her shoulder. By the boathouse stairs, she tosses a rolled newspaper clean through an open window. The nameless envelope slides half an inch from its pocket when the boat hits a wake. She studies the blue wax again and notices a tiny imprint of a bell hidden in the seal. Far ahead on the hill, the greenhouse roof flashes once between the trees, like a signal mirror. She ties up at the village landing, shoulders her satchel, and sprints before the boat even settles. She slips one letter under a teacup on a market table, just before the wind can steal it. Another packet lands in a hanging basket of onions, exactly where the grocer expects it every Thursday. The cat vanishes under a bench and returns wearing a loop of ribbon he absolutely refuses to surrender. An old clock in the square rings the quarter hour, and the hidden bell in the blue wax suddenly feels less accidental. She asks the flower seller with a quick gesture, but the woman only points uphill toward the greenhouse path. Mina takes the stairs 2 at a time, passing laundry that snaps bright against the sky. At the top, greenhouse doors breathe warm air over her face, sweet with basil and wet soil. Inside, every pane is pearled with dew, and the morning sun breaks through in dozens of small gold squares. She delivers seed invoices to one potting bench and recipe cards to another, without ever slowing down. Near the watering sink, Mina notices the same bell shape painted onto a cracked blue flower pot. The gardener shakes his head when she shows him the envelope, then points down toward the old square again. On her way out, she grabs a paper packet of dried cornflowers the gardener tosses after her. The scent from the packet matches the pressed flower in the nameless letter exactly. She runs back downhill, one hand on the rail, sliding the last steps instead of walking them. She drops a parcel at the tailor, catches a receipt midair, and folds it into her ledger in one motion. At the notice wall, one old corner of paper peels back to reveal a faded sketch of a bell tower that no longer stands. The tower used to stand beside the river landing, the fruit seller tells her, before the storm took it years ago. She cuts through a lane of shutters and laundry, running so fast her satchel taps time against her hip. At the canal path, she jumps back onto the bicycle without breaking stride. The noon wind runs harder along the water now, pressing her cape straight behind her like a green flag. A barge horn groans from the bend, and Mina brakes just long enough to let the wake settle. By the abandoned landing, she finds only mossy posts and a cracked stone base where the bell tower once stood. The blue wax seal fits perfectly into a weathered bell shape carved into the stone. Behind the stone base, hidden in reeds, a narrow boat rope leads back into the water like a forgotten path. She pulls the rope hand over hand until a tiny flat skiff bumps out from the reeds. The bicycle stays locked by the stones, while Mina and the cat climb into the skiff instead. She pushes off with an oar, and the skiff threads between high reeds where the main canal sound fades away. The hidden channel opens behind the floating post office, where the postmaster is waiting on the rear dock with a coil of bell rope. He says nothing at first, only takes the envelope, weighs it in his palm, and smiles like someone meeting an old friend. When the storm broke the tower, one last letter meant for the bellkeeper was never delivered. The bellkeeper did not leave town, he says. She moved her garden and her silence uphill to the square. Mina looks at the dried cornflowers, then at the blue seal, and understands who has been waiting all morning. The postmaster hands her the old bell rope, as if it belongs on the final delivery too. She trades the skiff for her bicycle again and races back toward the square, faster now that the story has a face. She stops only to hand a final newspaper to the barber and a tiny parcel to the apothecary window. At the foot of the square stairs, the cat overtakes her and flies up ahead like an arrow of orange fur. The market is thinning now, but one flower stall still glows under a blue cloth awning near the edge of the square. Behind it stands a silver-haired woman trimming cornflowers into a stone jar with the same patient hands the postmaster described. Mina doesn't speak right away. She simply places the coil of bell rope on the table beside the flowers. Then she offers the cream envelope, and the woman's face changes as if a long closed window has just been opened. The blue wax cracks under careful fingers, and the pressed flower slips into the seller's open palm. When she is done, the woman laughs once through tears and tells Mina the letter was written on the day the bell first rang. It came from the bellkeeper, who promised to plant cornflowers every year until the town no longer needed waking. The storm took the tower before the promise could be delivered, but not before the promise was kept. Mina helps the woman tie the bell rope above the stall, and the blue awning lifts around them like a sail. At the seller's nod, she gives the rope one careful pull. Somewhere beneath the square, a hidden bell answers with a low, clear note that rolls over the rooftops and the canal alike. The cat sits perfectly still for the first time all day, ears lifted toward the sound. The flower seller folds the letter again and tucks it into the same apron pocket she has worn for years. Then she presses a fresh bundle of cornflowers into Mina's hands as payment the courier never asked for. Mina bows anyway, because some deliveries feel too large for words and too light to carry home empty. She wheels the bicycle through the evening square while shopkeepers fold fabric and stack crates around her. One final notice slips from her satchel, and she catches it against the handlebar before it touches the ground. At the canal path, the sky turns apricot over the water, and the reeds glow from the inside out. She stops at the ruined bell base long enough to tuck one fresh cornflower into the carving. The cat rubs against the mossy stone, as if he too understands this part of the route has finally closed. Back at the floating post office, lanterns glow against the darkening water, like small anchored moons. The postmaster has already opened the ledger to the final line, leaving space for the day to settle into ink. Mina sets down the empty satchel, the tied receipts, the paper crane, and finally the cornflowers. She draws one neat line through the route map, marking the old bellkeeper's letter as delivered at last. Outside, the hidden bell sounds once more over the water, fainter now, but no less certain of its way home. The cat curls up directly on top of tomorrow's blank route map before anyone can stop him. Mina laughs under her breath, lifts the kettle again, and lets the room rock gently around the end of the day. When steam rises into the lantern light, the whole floating post office feels ready to dream until dawn finds it again.